So today we're gonna start with a backend language, and that is Postgres. As we have learned all the basics of the Python, like we have started with the all list sequences, all everything. Then we came to the functions. Then after that we come to the class and object, and then inheritance. And now we know how to get the data from the user. We know how to give input, how to take output. But only the thing that we don't know is to connect to the database, right? So the first thing that we need to know is to connect to database and connection to the Python. So today's task is to connect Python with the database. So which database we can use? Now there are many databases, like there is MongoDB, there is Oracle, there is MySQL, and many others. So today we're going to use a type of SQL database, that is Postgres SQL. Okay, we're going to use the Postgres database, and we're going to manage that database through our Python code, and we're going to learn this. So first step that we require is to download Postgres. And now where to get Postgres? So if we come to the browser and just write it down, Postgres SQL. So when you will go for it, it will give you the downloads right over here. When you click on the downloads, then it will just give you to over here. Now it coming to the Windows, we'll just click on the Windows, and you will be getting several versions out of it. Okay, the best suited version, you just download it, and after download you need to just install that. Whenever you install it on your system, then after installation, you need to remember, while installing, you will be asked an ID and password, and user ID and password. Let the user ID be Postgres only, and the password that you give over there, remember that password, because you will be requiring that password while you log in. Okay, so I have already installed, and I will just show you. I will just show you right over here. Yeah, see, this is the Postgres, and when I launch Postgres, I will be getting certain data like this. I'll just show you properly. See, when I launched Postgres, now how I got Postgres, I need to search over here PSQL. When I search PSQL, the Postgres SQL, it will give you the SQL shell right over here, and this is the shell where we can use it to write our queries and just get the data and connect to the database. Okay, it's directly how we're going to connect, and then we will connect it through our code also. So first of all, let us understand something directly only. So see, the server is localhost, just press enter. Now the database we're going to use is Postgres as the beginning. We'll just press enter. The port, we won't change the port, we'll just press enter. My username is Postgres, I will just press enter, and now it will ask me the password, and I will just write down the password, whatever I have, and you need to remember your password. Once you roll the correct password, it will just connect to your database, and it will show you Postgres. This over here, what is showing is nothing but the database name that we have connected, this database name. Now, what is a database and how to understand it? Something like this. See, you can understand a database is a big you can say is a big plot, okay, which consists of a lot of data. Now, plotting into that database is the means you can say tables. Okay, we have several tables inside the database, and every table may have n number of data. Okay, so let me cut it into bits. First bit is that database is a very broad sector. Okay, now cutting that database into some small piece, then we get the tables. Database consists of tables, and tables consist of number of data. For example, if we have a database student, then maybe student DB. Okay, now student DB, there may be a DB where maybe a student database, student table where the information of the student is there. There may be a teachers table inside that, which all teachers teach the student. There may be parents table, what are the qualifications of the parents and all the details. There may be administration table or behavior table, how it is behaving, it's going into that table. So there may be n number of tables. Now inside that student table, we can have the name, the contact number, and all other details inside the table. That is what the table consists of. Now parents table will have parents details. Behavior table will have the behavior of the students, all the details regarding this behavior. So this is how everything is linked with each other. So if you want to see how many databases are there inside this particular means Postgres you have created, so you can use backslash. Do not use slash, use backslash. It will be just below your backspace. You need to just put on backslash, and then you need to write L. L denotes list, and it will give you the list of the database. So I have a database Postgres, I have a database studentdb, I have a database template 0, similarly template 1. These all are my databases. Webinar DB, all are my databases, okay, which I have created. Now if I want to create a new database, okay, let the database be internship, okay. So how I need to create, I will just write it down, create. Now database, I want to create a database. It's just a normal English language. It has become so easy. This what we are writing right now, it's known as the query string. I repeat, it's known as the query string. So we're going to write the query string for creating a database. So we're going to write create database, and then the name of the database, let it be internship DB. I've written this name, I've written internship DB, and then we need to terminate this using a semicolon. Then only this will get executed. So once it gets executed, it will just create a database named internship DB, and you can see it soon. So let it get created, as it's taking a little time to get create the database. So we'll wait. We need to wait for a certain few seconds. Okay, create database, and the database is created. I hope so. So if you go for /L, and now we're getting an internship DB database right over here. You can see over here. Okay, so we got our database. Now, if you want to see what, I will just zoom it out. Now, if you want to see that what actually we have the tables inside this database, okay, what all tables we do have inside this database. So we will use /D. Just remember these shortcuts, /D, and now we're going to get all the tables created. So this is one table is student, another table is student ID sequence. These are all tables. You can see this is a sequence and this is the table. You can see the type is table right away here. Okay, now if you want to see that what does this table consist of, so there is another query string that you need to write, and the query string is, we need to select. There is a select string. If you have done SQL, then it will be very easy for you to understand. If you have not read SQL, then you need to go for the SQL videos. Okay, I need to learn what are the SQL basics. This is a normal SQL basics. Over here, we just select. To select all of the table, then we use star, which denotes all. Select star from means from where we need to select, and we need to select this from student, this table. So I will just write this table name, and now over here it's not case sensitive. If you write the table name in capital also, it will not affect anything. Okay, it will give you the same data. Okay, now if I do this, it is giving me the data. You can see this is the data that I'm getting. I have an ID, I have a name, I have an address, I have an age. So this is what it is getting created. Now, this is another thing that we have learned right now. And now if you want something else, like okay, now if you want something else, like if you want to change a database. So first of all, let me see what all database we have once again. Okay, the database are /L. So this is the database. Now we'll shift from Postgres to internship DB, this database. So to shift it, we need to write /C. That means change. And what we need to change, the database name that we want to change, and that is internship DB, and press enter. So now you are now connected to database internship DB as user Postgres. Okay, So the username is Postgres and I'm connected to internship DB. And now you can see over here we have internship DB right over here. Okay. So now if you want to see what all databases we have, so what all tables we have in internship DB, if you press /D, you will find did not find any relations. Okay. We don't have any table created right over here. So to create a table, first of all, we need to create a table. So to create a table, what we require, we need to write something like create table and then the name of the table that we need to create. For example, the table name is student. Okay. And then inside the bracket, you need to write down the headlines, or you can say, you can write down the attributes. Okay. These all are the attributes. Okay. These all are the attributes and these are all the entries. Okay. So we're going to write the attributes that are over here. So let us take an attribute name. Now ID is a by default attribute. If you don't write, that doesn't matter. It will automatically generate an ID, which will be a unique identification number. Okay. ID, name. Name shall be of text type, right? So I will just write down text over here. Similarly, address, and I will write the text over here. That's it. I want only these two data right over here in this table, and I will just switch off this and I will just terminate this. If you want to write int, you can write int. If you want to write float, you can write float. Whatever you want, you can use that type of data. Okay. Now I will just press enter after this. Now it will create me a table. Okay. Now if I press /D, so to see what all tables are created, so I will just get that there is a table student created. Okay. Now if I use select star from student, when I press this and I terminate this, so it will give you that there are no entries and only details that is taking is the name and address. That's it. Okay. Now if I want to insert some data into the table, okay, so how I need to write? I need to write something like this: insert into the table name, that is student, and inside the parentheses, I will just write down the name of the student. Like I need to write down what the sequence. Okay, first I will send the name and next I will send the address. This is the two things that I'm going to send, and then I need to write the values. Now values over here inside this, I need to write down what all values I need to put. So I will put in single quotes over here. The single quote and double quote are totally different, so you need to be very careful which quote you are using. I will just use the single quote right over here. So I will just put on the values, like I will just write down name, let it be John. Okay, and the address is California. Let it be New York or Los Angeles, LA. Okay, the address is LA, and I will just write it. I will just cut it into the short and done. Okay, so I will just press enter and it will insert in our DB. Okay, now if I put on select star from student, and you will see that we are getting John LA right over here. Okay, we are getting this John LA over here. And if you want to write ID, you can put down your ID over here only. So I will just write down the ID. You can create a table with the ID also. You will just write down ID over here. You will create a table with ID. So I'll just show you. I'll just name it as student new, and I'm just creating it. There's a syntax error. Okay, let me just check it out. Just let me know in the comment section if you have any doubts inside this. Okay, we'll just write it down: pip install scicop g2. Okay, we'll just write on this thing. Okay, we'll just make on it and it will be done. Okay, we'll just connect this to our things. So if you have any doubt, just let me know in the comment section and we'll just proceed with the further things. I'll just brief it out what we have learned till over here. We have done how to create a database, okay, and how to edit a database, how to delete a database, how to create your means tables, how to get data from the tables like this, how to use the where clause. This is the way how we can use the where clause and all sort of things right over here. We can use it. Okay. So now we'll just proceed for the connection of things. So let's start with the connection. So I will just put it on somewhere over here and just create a session 4. And so I will just create a file that is day1.file. Okay. So now we'll just go to the connection. So first of all, we need to import it. So first thing that is most important thing that is to install the things. Okay. Once we install it, then we need to do one more thing, that is your first installation, importing, and then the connection establishment. Once the connection is getting established, then we are able to do all sort of things, all the queries that we were doing in directly the SQL. We can do it right over here. So we'll just connect it first. Now for the connection, what we need to do actually, we will just import it, like import sci cop g2. Okay, we are just importing sci-cop g2 right over here, and then we'll just establish the connection. We'll generate connection. Okay, maybe the variable, we are just taking the variable over here like connection, and we need to write sci-cop g2 dot connect. Okay, and inside this we'll just write it down, the database name, the user, the password, the host, and the port. All the things that we were taking over there, we'll just write it down same as it is. So we'll write the database name, that is DB name, and the DB name that we're gonna write it, it's Postgres. Okay, now the user, so we're gonna just write down the user, and the user that we're gonna use is Postgres again. Then we're gonna write the password, and now I will write down my password in the local host that I use. Okay, so I'm just using my password, and now I'll just use the host name, local host. This is the host that we are using, and now at last we're gonna use the port 54, I believe 5432 that we were using. And now after completing this, once this connection is established, we will just print connection established. We're gonna just print this inside double quotes. So when we print this, we'll just execute this thing, like we're gonna write Python dot slash webinar 3.0, and then we're gonna have session 4 day 1. Now it's connection established. That means we have connected to our DB. Now if I make any mistake, like I make a mistake in the password, then it will throw an error and it will not get connected. It will throw you an error. See, password authentication failed, Postgres. Okay, so I will just reverse the things and I will just save it. And now again, if I just execute this, I will get the connection established thing. So this is how we're going to connect. And now our database has already get connected with our DB. Now there are several things that we need to do, like We can create the table. We can create all the things that we're using in query stream. We can use it over here. We can create the tables. We can create let's say our entry into the tables. We can search inside the table, and then we can do like your while searching, we can use the delete inside the table. So all the operations we're gonna do, we're gonna use 4 operations basically. We're going to create a table. We're going to enter into a table, that is, we can add data to the table, search data from the table, and delete data from the table. Okay, this is the 4 operation that we're going to do step by step. So first of all, to create a table, first of all, we'll just create a table. So first, for using this Psychop G2 means over here, we need to create a connection of cursor. Okay, so first of all, we'll just create cursor. We'll just write it down. And how to create a cursor? Maybe we can use the cursor variable over here as a variable over here, and we'll just write connection dot cursor. So what does this mean? We are just creating the cursor, and now everything will be controlled using this cursor only. Okay. Now we're going to execute the string, means query string. Execution of query. Okay. Now we'll just execute the query. So for executing the query, you're going to write cursor dot execute, and inside that we're going to write it down, the entire string that we have created in triple quotes. Now why in triple quotes? I explained to you what does triple quotes mean. Triple quotes mean that we can write in multiple lines. If you don't want to use triple quotes, you can use double quotes. It's upon you what you want to use. Okay. Now we'll just create a table. So we'll just write it down in brackets. We'll just write it down. Sorry, we'll just write it down. Create table. Now the table name may be intern. This is table that we are creating. Okay, and now we're gonna pass on what all things we want to pass. Like we will pass on the ID, that is a type of serial, comma, name, that is a type of text, comma, age, that is a type of id. Okay, we have written all the things that we want over here, and now that's it. We'll just create it. So we'll just terminate it right away here, and it's ready to get created. Okay, once it's completed, I'll just print it down like print table created, and then now we need to commit the connection, means we need to commit the changes. Now what are the committing of the changes? We need to store the changes that what all we have made. Okay, so we'll just write for committing like connection dot commit. Okay, and then we'll just close it, and we need to close the connection at last. Connection dot close. So this is a common steps. Till here the step is common, and over here the step is common. What is variable is this. Only this execution string is variable, and everything is common for connections. Okay. Sorry, this is not a function. Okay. Now we'll just execute this. We'll just try to get what data it is giving. Connection established and table created. Okay. So now we'll just come to this Postgres, and we'll just search for the table. So I'll just write /d, and now you can see there's a table. Okay. We haven't got a table yet with the name intern. This should have been a table with the name intern right over here. Okay. We have connected with the wrong DB. We have connected with a DB Postgres. Okay. Now we'll just change the DB to internship DB. Okay. I've just changed the DB to this DB, and now if I just execute the code, now I will get a table get created inside this. Okay. I've just executed it, and now if I use /d, I've got a table intern just created after this. Okay. Now, if I go for this inside what all data are there, select star from intern. So I have nothing. I have only the name and age. That is the input field. Okay. Now I need to give some input to this. Okay. So for inserting data, we'll just use the same code. We'll just use the same code, and now we'll just change this. Like we'll just copy this. Excuse me. Creating table, and I'll just comment this. We'll just write inserting data, and then we'll just paste this. And now instead of this string right over here, I need to just write the query string for your inserting thing. So if I want to also write, I can write another variable. Like if I want to create a variable like query, and inside that if I want to write like insert into the table name, and the table name is that we have created intern. Insert into intern, and now the parameters that we have created, that is name and age. So first thing what we need to write is the name, and then I will just write on age, and I will just write on the values, and inside that the values are, first of all, the values are John, and next the values are 13. Okay, John 13. Now 13 doesn't count in a single quotes. I have not put any single quotes because it's a number. Okay, and now I'll just terminate this string right over here, and I will just use this variable over here. So I'm going to write just the query variable right over here, and it will give us the same data. Okay, I will just execute this. The table created. Now I need to just change this actually. I need to write it down. Data inserted. Yeah, this is more suitable. Now we have already either the name was wrong, but we have already inserted one data, John 13. So let us check if we have a data, and now we have a data in the database, that is John 13. Similarly, we just insert several more data like Amar 23, and now we'll just execute this code. Now data inserted. Now we'll just go a little faster, like there is 26, and let it be or now. Okay, now we'll just execute it. We'll just, okay, sorry, we'll just execute it. There is another data that we have inserted. Now total we have 3 datas over here, and all the datas are over here, you can see. So this is how we can insert the data right over here. Okay, now our next step is to search our data. So for searching a data, we'll again use this query string only. We'll just comment this part and just write it down. Searching our data. Okay, we are just written searching our data, and now we'll just execute this and we'll just paste this. Okay, so we'll just need to copy this and we'll just paste it over here. So yeah, now this is all. Now we need to write search a data. So the query should be for searching a data, or else if you want to get the data, first of all we'll just fetch data. Fetch data. So we will just fetch the data row wise. So I'll just show you how we're gonna do this. We're gonna fetch the data one by one, row wise. So we're gonna write a string. First of all, the query string. Select asterisk from intern. Okay, and then the terminate. So this is the query string, and then when we will use execute this query string, like cursor excuse me dot execute, and inside this we're going to pass on the query. Okay, so we have executed. Now we will get some data out of this. Now cursor consists of some data, so we're going to fetch it. So row equals to, we're going to store it in row, cursor dot fetch. If you want to fetch all of the data at once, then we'll write in fetch all function, and now we'll just print the rows. Print row. If you want only one out of all the fetched ones, then we can use the only one. Now if you execute it, you can see, okay, this data inserted is not required over here. I will just remove this, but you can see the data is over here, that there is 1, 2, 3 data coming out of this, and we can use see to it properly. There is no further things that is need to be cleared over here. So this is how we can fetch a data. And now if you want to search a data, then it's a similar thing that you need to search for a data. It is also the same way, same method. Only the thing is that you need to just write it. Now if you want to have only one thing, like you have a function like fetch one, now you will get the data only one data. See, only the first data that you're getting. So this is what the fetch one is. If you want to use it and using for loops and all, then you can use this one, or basically we just use fetch all. Now if you want to use this thing, like if you want to use this for searching a data, so how we're going to search it? Search a data. So for this we're going to just write it, paste it over here, and select star from intern where. Now the where clause comes into it. ID equals to 1 or 2. Okay, we have given ID equals to 2, and now this is what we need to search, and we're going to print all the data. Okay, coming to this category. So I will just comment this part so that we don't get confused with any of the fields, and now I'll just press enter, and I'm only getting the ID 2 right over here. So this is what the search a data works right over here. Now we got all the data, we have searched the data, and the only thing that is remaining is to delete our data. So we'll just write it down like delete data. Now over here we'll just paste the same thing that we have done over here, and we'll just execute the query string only. That's it. So we don't require the statements right over here. We'll just want this. Now to delete it, I'll just remove this string right over here. I need to remove this cursor.execute. Okay. Now to remove this, what we need actually, we'll just write it down. Delete delete from student, not student, intern where ID equals to 2. Now we'll delete the ID 2 over here. Okay, we'll just delete it, and now connection established, and we have deleted the data. So I'll just let you know that what we have deleted. Now there is no ID 2, you can see. 1 is there, 3 is there, but 2 is not there. So this is how we're going to delete data from the database using Python. So now you know how to connect the database using Python, and now you can use grab all the outputs and store it in somewhere in the database. So this is what the database could be used as site object. Now if you want to use MongoDB, you need to just read how to use MongoDB using Python. There are some documentations you need to do it, and then you can use it very smoothly and very efficiently. There is no issue with it. All the databases are very simple, and you can use it comfortably. Okay, I hope you understood every bit of this, and if you have any queries, just put on in the comment section and we'll just answer it. Thank you and have a nice day.